Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting here, the people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and any other elders of Aboriginal communities here today. I'm Michael Mintram. I'm Academic Director of the Executive Master of Public Administration degree. I'm also a proud dual citizen of Australia and New Zealand. Thank you so much, Damonette, for that wonderful, inspiring oration. All New Zealanders well know a Maori saying, he aha te mea nui o te au, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. What's the most important thing in the world? It's the people, it's the people, it's the people. And throughout your public life, Damonette, you've shown time and again your unending belief in the importance of people and of doing all we can to make the world a better place for everyone, no matter their background or where they come from. Thank you for the inspiring role model you are for all of us, and especially, I think, for professional women in the public service and those seeking political office. Gender equality in all spheres of our lives, public and private, will make our communities, businesses, schools, all our institutions, and our families stronger and more fulfilled. I was recently at a meeting where the speaker illuminated for the audience the Maori concept of whakapapa. And I've long understood this word to be a reference to our ancestors. But when we think of whakapapa, we're invited really to think both about ancestry and legacy, and think of all the generations that have brought us here to this moment right now. Think of all the contributions that others have made that have lifted us up. And let us then consider the future stretching way out ahead. That future is our legacy. And so in thinking of whakapapa, it's right that we think about the very best that we can do in this brief time that we have, with all our faculties, all our gifts, all our inheritances. What can we do to make the world a better place? Sir James Hinare, Ngāti Hine elder, said, "Kua te whiti ki tō e rangamai kia kai hare tonu, he nui rawa o mani, kia kari o mahi tanu." You've come too far not to go further. You've done too much not to do more. Which I think is quite right, but then the policy guy in me says, but we need a plan. And you can probably see where I'm heading with this, I hope so. Which brings me to my final proverb, actually. Whia tia ti kahurangi ki te tahu kaumiha manga titi. Aim for the highest cloud so that if you miss it, you will land on a lofty mountain. And there's the plan. That's the process. I love the saying because it enjoins us to strive beyond our own imagined possibilities. And while there are times, and Damonette, you mentioned this several times in your talk, it's a very self-effacing thing to say, but important. There are times when we might miss that highest cloud. The mountain will give us time to catch our breath and reflect on how far we've come and all the hard slog we've accomplished. And then we can begin to realise maybe we haven't got so far to reach to attain the clouds next time. As you'll shortly see from our Dean's Prize and individual subject winners, we can be rightfully proud of the way ANZSOG is preparing the next generation of diverse and inspirational public sector leaders and high flyers. We're delighted they've chosen to spend time with us on our mountain. And as a shining example, it's my great pleasure to invite the 2017 Dean Prize winner, Sonja Cox, to the podium to address us briefly. The Dean's Prize is awarded annually to the student who has achieved the highest aggregate mark across all the EMPA subjects taught by ANZSOG, including the final work-based project. And clearly not one to shirk a challenge. Sonja's worked in corrections, the Corruption and Crime Commission, and the Western Australian Police. Amongst many accomplishments, she was the 2013 Telstra Businesswoman of the Year. She's currently the Executive Director, People, Culture and Diversity at the Public Sector Commission, bringing both her spirit of service and her deep theoretical and practical knowledge to the broader public sector in Western Australia. So, let me please invite you to join with me in congratulating the 2019 ANZSOG Woman of the Year and welcoming her to speak, Sonja Cox.
Good evening. May I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging. I also want to take this opportunity to share my deep felt thoughts and prayers to our friends and colleagues in New Zealand as they begin their recovery from the devastating terror attacks in Christchurch. As I watched in horror and disbelief, I reflected on a country that I had only just visited in our final EMPA gathering. I was reminded of a country that values diversity like no other, of a country that celebrates and recognises all people, and of a country that is so welcoming and strong. It is these characteristics that will give your people the strength to rebuild. To our New Zealand colleagues especially, we love you and we stand with you. I'm honoured to be awarded this most prestigious prize, and I must admit, I'm still a little bit shocked. With almost 20-something years between my first degree and this one, to say I was a little nervous would be an understatement. In fact, when I think about my first degree, I got through it with an electric typewriter, and there was certainly no such thing as Google. ANZSOG has assembled the most thought-provoking, practical and information-rich units delivered by some of the most respected and valued academic minds of our nation and New Zealand. To the staff, to the host universities, lecturers and guest speakers, we sincerely thank you for bestowing your knowledge, experience and support. I personally want to thank the WA Police Force for giving me the opportunity to participate in the program and for always supporting my attendance and coursework requirements. I also want to thank the WA Public Sector Commission for continuing to invest in future talent and growing a pipeline of leaders that will reposition the public sector to enable it to meet future challenges and complexities. To my Commissioner, Sharon O'Neill, thank you for believing in me and giving me the space, courage and confidence to implement my learning. To say that a 2-year master's degree was a tough slog would be underestimating its intensity. Over the course of 2 years, we wrote assignments totalling 58,500 words. We delivered presentations to panels of executives and buried ourselves in close to 100 textbooks and readings. We spent a year researching real-life issues faced by public sector agencies and delivered to them practical solutions that will achieve their business and business outcomes. Sound busy? It was. Especially when you consider that we did this separated by thousands of kilometres across Australia and New Zealand. The mere sound of the sentence, "Please enter your guest code to join the teleconference," still rattles me. I seriously questioned applying for a scholarship, knowing that for 2 years my nights and weekends would be filled with study and assignments. As a then single mother of 3 young sons, I knew that to be successful I would have to make some sacrifices. That was perhaps one of the most difficult decisions I had to make, but I also knew that completing the degree would show them how important an investment in learning was, and that if you wanted something so bad, you had to work hard for it. To my sons, Bryce, Ashton and Nate, I sincerely thank you for your love, your patience and for always being my #1 fan. To my partner Craig, you make me believe that anything is possible and give me the encouragement I need to be successful. And to my dad, who never stood prouder of his little girl's achievements, you sadly did not stay on this earth long enough to hear that I'd won the award, but you stood in my corner every step of the way. And you kept me going when I felt like giving up. We started our EMPA journey in this very city in January 2017, and whilst the learnings we made were second to none, it was the teamwork and camaraderie of over 100 public sector leaders that inspired me the most. I was encouraged by stories of courage and conviction. I was empowered by dedication to serving others, and I was enlightened by creative and innovative approaches to tackling complex issues. As we journeyed through each unit, the power of the public sector and the true spirit of service became apparent. As public servants, we are tasked with an incredible privilege, the privilege to deliver services to the community. We must constantly reflect on our work and our performance, asking ourselves whether we did the best we could, or could we do things differently. Each EMPA unit made us dig a little deeper to consider how we could deliver better value, how we could ensure more equitable and efficient outcomes, and how we can promote the wellbeing of all Australians, especially our most disadvantaged groups. As senior government officials, we have an incredible power and the ability to influence outcomes on such a massive scale. There are no shortcuts to designing and delivering outcomes for the community, and if we try to take them, we are operating dangerously. I must admit that I came to the EMPA perhaps a little bit broken. Having served in the sector for over 23 years, I had felt I'd lost my way. The complexities, the battles, delivering outcomes, often under unrealistic timeframes and with little investment, had deflated me. But I was energised, and I am shining brighter for the experience most of all. We have toolkits that are brimming with ideas and knowledge, and we have graduated with renewed passion for our purpose. We are now part of an incredible alumni, an alumni that is full of exceptional leaders. Leaders ready and willing to take action and charge. ANZSOG, I thank you for bringing us together to learn, to explore, to challenge and to ignite our futures. Thank you.